All right, done doing paperwork. So now I'm home and I'm gonna try and get our home woods tapped. This is somewhere around 170, 175 taps. That's what it was last year anyways. It'll probably be about the same. I did retube a bunch of this year with new 5/16s, so that will make it a little bit easier. Now, one thing that I do, and I do it every year, and it helps me kind of change up the way I tap the trees. It makes it so you don't have to look as hard for where the old tap holes are, is I change the direction I go up the main lines. And I tap off one side, and then the next year I'll start on the opposite side of the main line. So this year I'm going counterclockwise. And that'll make it to where I walk up to the tree a different side of the tree every year. I'll go clockwise next year because this year I went counterclockwise. And I do it the same every time, and it makes it easy. So even by following the counterclockwise way around the trees, it doesn't work out perfect every time. I end up going around, and that's just to try and stay away from the old tap holes so that we can find good, new, clean white wood to tap the tree in. So here's one that I just tapped. If you look, it's not all good, clean white wood. There's some rot in the center of this tree. So that rot won't flow sap. So what you do with that is you don't want to tap that because you get lower quality sap. So we just plug it off. That tap hole will heal over. We just won't get any sap from it this year. And now we just hope that it doesn't keep popping off, because then we get a vacuum leak. But it's right behind the sugar house, so that's an easy one to go get every time. You guys saw on this one here, I tapped it below the lateral line, so it comes off the main line, comes over, but we actually tapped it below that lateral. With the vacuum systems, we're able to actually draw that sap up and into our lateral. We could pick it up about 15 feet. We try not to go that far, but that's what the systems will do. As long as you have it here that it goes down and then back up, there's no loss in production. Now, if we had it just straight upside down so it was tapped in, then you would get a loss. But this way the sap drops out, goes up, and we get sap out of that tree still. There, that main line's done. On to the next one. Now the second main's done. Now we just got this third one. There's a decent charge of taps over here on my side of the road, then we go over the road, but I'll show you that in a second. So as it always turns out, you never have all the tools you need. I'm down here and I found a whole bunch of squirrel chews on some of these drop lines that, of course, I didn't have the right tool to swap them out. So back to the house. Luckily I'm at home, so it was easier. And I got to get these swapped out so I can finish tapping this whole grove. So this one is chewed right next to the drop, not the drop itself, but because of where it is, it's chewed there. I'm not going to be able to get the splice in next to it and get everything cleaned up. So I got to cut the whole drop out and that piece. So what I thought was going to be an easy couple hours to get our home woods tapped has turned into probably an hour of fixing stuff, because the tree rats have really tore this place up in good shape. And I thought I was ahead of it, but I mean, I'm carving out big pieces now, and I got quite the pile of carnage of tube in here too now. So here's an example of one that it's not a dead end T wrapping around the tree. It's just a regular T. I was out of the dead ends when I put this in, so I just ran regular ones so I get the system up and running. But the tree rats on this one have had a field day with it. So this is easy. I'm just going to cut this drop off and then throw a dead end T in, and that T will never work again. Now I've got everything tapped on our side of the road, but we've got taps on the other side of the road from the house. But all of it runs to that tank down back. So the way we do it is with vacuum, and we're able to pick it up. So the tubing goes up and over the road, and we go up over 2 driveways. We're doing it with vacuum. So we'll see if we can get this side tapped, and then hopefully get the releaser set. So I got everything at home tapped now. Of course, I had someone stop by to pick up maple equipment, and then some friends stopped by to get some syrup, so I lost a pile of time. And I gotta pick the kids up. But I'm gonna try and get this releaser. Alright, so my GoPro battery is on the fritz. It's ready to die, and the other one's too cold even though it's full. So it's about dead even though it says it's got like 80%. Morning everyone. So today, I just got out of work. I worked for 2 days straight. And the sap ran a little bit, and the vacuum's been doing different things. It's been pretty good looking at the monitors, but I've had a little bit of monitor trouble working with Jeff at SapSpy to get that straightened around. But you can hear now the vacuum pump's running already. It's warming up. We got to like 27 last night, and it's supposed to be in the 40s today, but the next 2 days look really good. So I want to try and get my vacuum levels up everywhere. There are some leaks at home. My battery died on the GoPro the other night when I was finishing up, so I wasn't able to show you everything that I got set up, but I got to chisel some ice. I got a bunch of stuff to do today, plus people are coming to buy pipes. So I'm down here at the tank at the home woods. I did get the releaser set up yet the other day, and I got my monitor set up here. This one runs on a solar panel to keep it charged because I don't have power down here. But it's working good. It's not exactly the way I want to set it, but I was running out of time the other day before I had to get the kids. So I just kind of got it put together and then bailed out. But everything's froze up here right now, but it gives me time to get some other stuff done. So I don't quite have this monitor set up how I wanted it, but I was running out of time. My plan is that there's an extra port on the back of this releaser that I'm gonna use. I didn't have a plug to make it work. So I teed in to one of the lines on the ladder, and that got me close enough, and then I can just fix that at some point once I get this thing how I want it. Probably not today, maybe Saturday. This monitor here, this one there's 170 or so taps on this piece of woods, and it also measures the tank level and vacuum. So this one's going to make it easy. This tank is pretty close on capacity. A lot of times I have to get the guys, if I'm at work, to come pump this one out. So having this here now, I don't have to worry about having them to come and check it. I make a phone call and say, hey, it's there, or they're going to call me and go, hey, that one's down. I'm going to go pump it right now for you because it's almost overflowing. It's going to make life a lot easier for me. So when I came home yesterday, I noticed a huge problem. I've got snow that I pushed down across the front of the sugar house next to the new barn. And this is the first year with the barn, but there was a lot of water that ran out of the snowpack, and it followed the snowbanks that I've got set here, and now the barn door is frozen. So I get to chisel that out so I can get the tractor out to try and clean this fiasco up. As you can see, the water just ran right down next to it, and all the way across in front of the barn. So I got some of this snow moved. I've had a bunch of people here buying maple equipment and talking, and well, I'm behind on the schedule now, but I got some moved and I'm gonna get this water to move. It's starting to melt now and soften up, so it should be a little bit easier. Get this finished up. I gotta check taps. So I was able to get the majority of this snow moved. However, there's a ton of ice that's built up and started pushing around that pile. And now I'm just beating on the tractor a little bit, trying to get it. What I'm gonna do is let it soften up. There's the ice and the little bit of snow here. And then I may attack it tonight with the tractor or Saturday when I get home from work. It's supposed to get 50, I think. But I was able to get some trenches cut in the ice that allows the water to run and get it away so it won't end up in front of the barn anymore and freeze the door. So based on the information coming from my SapSpy app, I'm able to tell that my home woods right now where I am is only got 16 inches of vacuum. So I know that when it freezes up, it goes to 20. So that's telling me I've got some leaks in here, maybe a couple taps I missed. So I'm gonna start walking these lines and see if we can find them. So we're just gonna follow the sap bubbles. So I always do this woods the same. I start in back of the sugar house just because there's a line right here and I'm able to work around. So let's get these lines checked. No leak on that one just by looking at the bubbles coming into that loop where it hooks into the main. Now these taps I'm looking at right now should be good. This is all brand new pipe. So unless I missed something, there isn't going to be any leaks here. No leaks on home 3, so we'll check home 2 now. Here's a main. You guys aren't really going to be able to see it, but the tree rats have really raised hell with it in 2 spots. And I don't have my roll of pipe with me right now, so I'm going to try and find everything and then I'll come back and get it. But this goes out and it crosses the road. We go up and over the road and we collect the sap from the other side. Now this one I just closed the valve and I think I found one of my problems already. That's a pretty good leak. Let's go find this one. So now when I talk about slow moving bubbles, here's one and I'm 20 feet from the tank. Here's fast moving bubbles. So you can really see the sap shooting by there. That tells me that this one's got a leak on it. So now I just have to find it. So when I go looking, you want to eliminate big pieces of pipe at a time. And the easiest way I found, you go up to a spot, usually around a tree or a drop, and you put a small bend in it. And by doing that, that lets you see what the sap's doing. So I know now, I know that my leak is further out than that. This one I can even hear it. Let's see, I think I found it. Maybe it's right here somewhere. So this one, I'm not sure how it happened. There's a little hole. There's a little hole right there that went on the inside of the pipe against the tree. So I'm not sure how that one got there, but we got that one taken care of. We'll go back and we'll check our loop. That was it for that one, so now that leak's taken care of. Here's one where the squirrels actually ate the pipe on the fitting that I missed. I think I'm just gonna cut this off and push this back on and see if it solves this problem. So I'm walking across the road, headed to the other side, and I can already hear one. It sounds like a good one. Well, I found this one. Somehow the guy running the drill didn't feel like tapping this one. I don't have my drill with me, so I'm just gonna plug it off. I got one side of the road taken care, well, the driveway, I guess I should say, taken care of. And now I'm onto the other, but the sap wasn't moving too good, so I put a little bit of a leak in on the far end because these lines have too many taps on them. I already know that, but I don't have another easy way right now to make it work. So I put a leak in to try and make it climb these ladders a little bit better, but it may have been too much of a leak, so I may have to go fix that later. Now it's a matter of trying to find, there's a leak over here. I know one of them doesn't have one, but I think one does. I can hear this one from a mile away. And I just jumped a couple partridge. And more partridge. Another genius move. Found my leak. So here's a problem. When I try to put a leaker in this one, there's so much sap in the line that it's pushing back out this way on the end. That's a problem. That doesn't work. What to do, what to do, what to do. So here's what I'm going to try. I'm going to take and cut a splice in here. That way it evacs the sap out of here, put it back together, and then it should go because this sap's not even moving. Well, that's not going to work because the sap just ran back at me. There's so much head pressure here. Plan B. So the first run of the year, I generally just dump on the ground. This one, I closed the valve just because it had some ice in the bottom of it that I wanted to try and loosen up. And this stuff's pretty ugly looking right now, this first run, but now all the lines are flushed out and everything should be good to where we can start collecting this now. So now I'm gonna get this tank cleaned up. So what I'm gonna do is just drain it out, let all this crud run on the ground. So I just dump half the pail in, scrub it around, rinse it out, the other half rinse on the ground, and then we're clean, ready to collect sap. And that's all there is. Cleaning tanks, even in season, I try and use hot water. It just that way if there's a little bit of ice, it breaks it up and helps a little bit. But just splash it around, drain it, another one, rinse, and you're good. This releaser, I do have a trash can that fits over it because the rainwater gets in where it shifts and it kind of gums it up a little bit. So I just keep the rain off it. And now, I mean, I'm ready to go. We're ready to collect sap here now.